So good morning, dear students. Today we'll be discussing recruitment process and selection, which is in our unit 2. Yesterday we did discuss about the definition of recruitment, that what recruitment is. We said that it is creating a pool, it is generating a pool, and we have to generate it in such a manner so that we have sufficient number of candidates who we are attracting to our vacancies or to our organization, right? Now we start with a recruitment process. How do we start it? So first of all, according to Familiar, recruitment process, it involves recruitment policy, recruitment organization, a forecast of manpower, development of sources of recruitment, and different techniques used for utilizing these sources, and a method of assessing the recruitment program, right? So first is recruitment policy. Every organization, when we talk about recruitment policy, every organization must have a recruitment policy in its place. Recruitment policy, so that recruiter is, whenever he should have some background against which he is going to recruit people. So recruitment policy is a very, you can say, a very important document which he can refer to. And recruitment policy, it specifies the objectives of recruitment, so that he is able to know that why he is going to, what are the objectives that are being fulfilled through the recruitment. And so it provides a framework for the implementation of recruitment program. It also involves employers' commitment to some principles as to find and employ the best qualified persons. See, recruitment policy will give you a slab, that which particular skills, how much you can dilute with the skills, how much you can be rigid with that. So it will be everything will be given in your recruitment policy. So first of all, one must refer to the recruitment policy, then identify the determine the requirements. Determine the requirements, because requisition, HR planner is getting requisition, and then after due analysis, it is being forwarded to the recruiter. So recruiter must be able to determine that what exactly is required, what type of pool has to be generated for the company. So that is very essential. That, and if analysis by HR planner goes wrong, same wrong information will be conveyed to the recruiter, and then there would be, organization will be landing in a hot soup, because then organization might not get the right skill for the organization. So one must determine the requirements. Then sources of recruitment. Once recruiter has defined and identified the requirements, then he must be able to zero down that which particular source is going to give me the required number as well as the required skill for my organization. Right? Sources of recruitment, there are different sources of recruitment. We'll be discussing it in our next slide. Then identifying prospective employees with required characteristic. See, this is very important, choosing of a source, because source will give you the required desired employees. So if you are choosing wrong source, for example, if you require fresher, right, and you are choosing, say, consultant, or you are choosing, say, any other agency, then there is another, say, possible way out, campus. So as a recruiter, you need to understand and analyze which particular source will give me the desired number as well as this skill for my organization. So that source of recruitment will be helpful in identifying prospective employees with required characteristics. Then method of recruitment. Recruitment techniques are the means to make contact with potential candidates. Now, once you have identified the source, let us suppose you have identified, say, campus just hold. So once recruiter has identified the particular source, then it becomes the responsibility of recruiter to have a contact with them. Now how can be the how contact can be possible? It could be through mails, it could be through web postings, it could be through SMS, and it could be through telephonic call, wherein you are trying to attract the required or desired candidates to your organization. Then evaluation of recruitment program. Once the entire recruitment program is done, you have created pool, and that pool has generated sufficient number of potential candidates to give a better choice to the selector. So then after selection, whether he stays with the organization, how he is performing in the organization, was the source which was chosen by the recruiter, was it appropriate or not, everything has to be evaluated, so that next time when recruiter goes for the say filling up the vacancies, he should analyze whether the previous recruitment record was it okay or not, and if there was any gap, so he will try to improve it in next recruitment. So this is how your process of recruitment goes. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is your recruitment process. A quick snapshot of recruitment process. See, it starts with your job analysis. Job analysis will generate the desired JD and JS. On the basis of that, recruitment planning would be going for number and types, right? What is the number which is required, and type that would be required by JS, what is the specification, what is the skills he is requiring for. And personal management, job analysis will give you the JD and JS. On the basis of, say, planner will receive the number of job vacancies. Recruiter will then, on the basis of job vacancies and the JD and JS, go for recruitment planning, which will give you a number and types, right? And after this, recruiter will go for the strategy. When, where, and how. That means, do I need to go for internal, external, time? That means at what time? Do I need to recruit right now? Do I need to have recruitment after, say, 10 days, 15 days? What is the tenure? When do I need to fill the vacancies? And where? Where means which particular department, which particular level, which particular position you would need to fill in. And then on the basis of that, application, there would be, creation of application population. So you are creating a pool. Once this pool is created, now it is contacting. You are getting them, attracted towards how it could be selling. Now you are selling your vacancies. It could be through message, it could be through media, it could be any medium. So once candidates know, it has been communicated to the potential candidates, now actual applicant pool is created. Now this is the application population. This is what you are targeting as a recruiter. This is target, right? So this is application pool now, which is being created, actual. And after actual pool has been created, it goes to screening. Screening means whether resumes that have been received, are they fulfilling our eligibility criteria or not, right? Now this, when this screening starts, it becomes your first step of selection. That means this screening, herein your recruitment ends and selection starts. Screening is the common to both recruitment as well as ending step of recruitment and first step of selection, wherein you are screening your potential candidates. And then that will be shortlisting. You will be out of this pool. After screening, you will be shortlisting certain candidates, And out of these shortlisted candidates, you will be then forwarding it to the selector. Now it could be selector, could be a committee, a person, whosoever, a board, whatsoever. Right? So this is the entire recruitment process. Now, as I said, that very important in the recruitment is identifying the sources. That where from which particular source I will be getting the required number with the required skills. So possibly we have two sources. First is internal source and second is external source. Internal, which are internal, that means you are just making. And this is buying. Right? So internal source could be promotion, right? Wherein you have certain vacancies to fill in and that you are filling through promotion. Departmental exams. Promotion is very common, you can say, source of internal recruitment. Then departmental exams. You must be aware, like we have in banks and all that, a notice is being put up, and whosoever is eligible is subjected to an exam, departmental exam, and whosoever qualifies that exam is, promoted or whatsoever is, that means the vacancy is filled in through departmental exam. Then transfer can be another source of recruitment. Generally transfer, if it is a source of recruitment, it could be within the organization, from one particular department to other department, or it could be from one particular organization to other organization. Now other organization means, for example, we have a branch in Ghaziabad and we have a branch in Noida. So we require people in Noida. Ghaziabad is having surplus staff at a particular level. So you are transferring employees from Ghaziabad to Noida. So transfer becomes internal source. Then retirement. Retirement, as we all know, that it is, attainment of a particular age, whatsoever is being notified or identified by the government as well as the organization. So upon reaching a particular age, employee, he ceases to be he is supposed to leave the organization. But now how retirement can be the source of recruitment? If you think that you are not getting any desired candidate from either from external or from internal source, then you tend to extend. You are giving extension to the employee, right? And you are just letting him stay back. He was at the verge of retirement. He was supposed to get retired, but you did not retire him. You gave simply him extension. This is one. Second, that employee is already retired, and then you are calling him back. You are using his expertise. You are using his, skills, and you are calling him back for a certain period of time, and then you are feeling like we have deputations and all that. Then internal advertisement. Internal advertisement is, you are simply putting up you are just putting up information about your vacancy on a notice board, or it could be through mail as well, and whosoever wants to apply against that vacancy can apply it. But the process of selection would be, he will have to it is not like that a person is belonging to the same organization and he is applying to the vacancy, so he'll be selected like that. No, he will have to fulfill all the eligibility requirements. He will have to undergo the entire selection process. If he is selected, fine enough. Then employee recommendation. Employee recommendation, as we know, that employee is recommending a person who he knows to the organization. For example, I am working in the organization. I'm aware, I'm being told that if you can refer some good these candidates to the organization. Now it is a win-win situation. Now for organization, they are getting a person who is being recommended that means they is a trustworthy person. And as an employee, what I am getting, generally companies pay, commission to the employee who is recommending potential candidate to the organization. And if he is selected, then a part initially the part of depending upon the policy of organization, certain part of salary is also given as a commission to the employee. So that is employee recommendation. Then if you are not able to find out your potential candidate through internal source, we have external sources. External source is your management consultant. These are the third parties. You are hiring a management consultant, like we have ABC, we have Mafoy, we have Omam. These are big consultants, so who are providing you with the requisite skill, and they have got the huge data bank with them, and they tend to recommend employees for organization. Now it helps in cost saving to the organization as well as time saving, because you are now giving the entire thing to the consultant. Then employment agency. Every state has got employment agency. It is a government recognized body, employment agency. I don't know whether any of you have got yourself registered with the employment agency. So whenever there are vacancies in the government organization, it is being communicated to the potential candidate and they can apply. That is through employment agency. Then campus recruitment, one of the very popular and famous external source. All of you know that campus recruitments, wherein organizations, they target maybe colleges, right? It could be undergraduate, it could be postgraduate colleges, and higher. The biggest advantage of campus recruitment is that they get huge number of potential candidates, and process is very short. It hardly takes 1 or 2 days, maximum three to 4 days, to end up the entire process, which in general would have taken much more time. Then newspaper advertisement. Newspaper advertisement, you are just placing an ad in the newspaper, and you are now, when we place an ad in the newspaper, there are certain guidelines which we have to follow. We have to be very specific, because it comes with a cost. When you are publishing your advertisement in the newspaper, it has a huge cost which you need to pay to the newspaper. So you need to frame out your advertisement in such a manner so that such that it is short and sweet. Short in the terms of content, and specific in the terms of what you want to communicate. You have to when we talk about ideal ad, one has to keep in consideration, say, about the company, a brief about company, right? Then position, which includes JD as well as JS. Brief about all these. When we say JS, you need to publish must and desired competencies, what you are looking in for the candidate. So that has to be given in the newspaper, right? And then you need to close your ad by giving a particular phone number, by giving a particular address, by giving a particular date up to which a candidate can apply, right? That is what is newspaper advertisement. Then internet advertisement, we have these days, we go for internet advertisement. It might be through pop-ups, maybe through SMSs, maybe through web postings and we have these under internet advertisements. You can also have tie up with these social networking sites, right? Even job portals, you can add on job portal as then social networking sites. For example, you are posting it on LinkedIn, you are posting it through Facebook, you are posting it through Instagram. So all these become your external sources. In walk-in interview, that you again, walk-in interviews again through newspaper, through ad posting and ad, but you are just inviting everyone. Walk in, whosoever is listening about the advertisement can come and sit for the interview. It is a cumbersome process, and it is not very, you can say, dignified process of recruitment, because you tend to invite all those who are eligible and who are not eligible. Then it becomes a very cumbersome process for you to shortlist that who is actually eligible and who is not actually eligible for the job. Now, based on the personnel to be recruited, generally we have which particular methods are adopted. For example, if you want to hire managerial or technical personnel, so which particular source you would like to go for? Advertisement, internet, walk-ins, campus, job fairs, another very important source these days, consultancy firms, personnel contacts, poaching and raiding. Yes, I would like to tell you about this poaching and raiding. What is poaching? Poaching is a technique wherein you are eyeing upon the competitor's employee. For example, let us suppose I am working with an organization. Somehow, competitor, where there is vacancy, they are getting this information that that particular candidate who is working in XYZ company is very good, and he is having all the eligibility criteria which you are looking forward to. So what they do, they just give me a call, and they tend to make their offer very lucrative. They tend to first of all they'll ask me, why don't you change a job, we have a very good offer for you. So they are basically trying to poach, getting hold of competitors employee, so which is not a very good practice. Although having said that it is not a good practice as far as ethical recruitment is considered, because what you are doing, you are snatching actually competitors good employees. That is why it becomes very challenging job for human resource to make their employees stick to the organization, especially those employees who are assets to their organizations. And generally those employees are only poached who are top performers. Obviously competitor will poach them only. Why they will go for non-performers? So poaching and raiding, in order to minimize this you can say unethical practice in recruitment, companies, they go for memorandum of understanding. For example, when there was Ranbaxy and Dr. Reddy's, they are two pharma companies. They were having memorandum of understanding that they will not poach their candidates, they will not poach their employees. Like Ranbaxy will not poach Dr. Reddy's employees, and Dr. Reddy will not poach Ranbaxy employees. So that is how they were protecting their top performers, right? Then for operative personnel, you could have public employment exchange, labor unions as source, employee referrals, gate hiring. Now, what is gate hiring? Gate hiring is simply that you are putting a notice on the factory gate. Gate hiring is generally for lower level manufacturing industries, where you require laborers, you require lower level employees, you require plumber, you require electrician. So they will just paste a note, a notice on their factory gate that प्लम्बर की आवश्यकता है, वेल्डर की आवश्यकता है, या मजदूरों की आवश्यकता है. Just simply writing it and putting it on gate. So whosoever passes through that factory gate might have a look at that particular notice and might apply to the organization. Then labor contractors. Again, this is a third party, as we have management consultants for higher position jobs. Similarly, we have labor contractors for labors. Then based on the movement of the organization, that means direct methods and third party methods where you want to move. Direct method is advertising, internet recruiting, campus, job fairs, personal contacts, and gate hiring, where you are targeting directly to them. Third party, wherein you are involving third party, consultancy, employment exchange, unions, referrals, and labor contracts. So these are the sources which one can refer to for filling up their vacancies. Then there are certain advantages and disadvantages. All of us know what could be the advantages. Obviously, internal methods are time saving because you don't have to go for the entire process. You know the candidate, he's already there with the organization, so no training is required. Method increases loyalty and reduces labor turnover because employees tend to know that whenever there would be vacancy, first preference will be given to the internal employee, so it increases loyalty. And obviously this is less expensive. You don't have to hire, you don't have to waste your entire week or days together to go through the resumes and shortlist and then have a separate training and development or interview programs and all that. So it is less expensive. Disadvantages is you're not getting a new talent in the organization. Whatever is available in the organization, you are just experimenting with them only. The method involves selecting people from those available in company. So there is limited scope for selection. Obviously, when you go for internal recruitment, pool created is not very vast. So you do not have a choice of selection. So it is a limited scope for selection. There are chances of bias and partiality. Obviously, you know that, for example, your boss, he wants a particular vacancy to be filled, and he has a you can say a favorite person in the organization. He might tend to have a partial approach while selecting that person. So again, this is the disadvantage. And then chances of employee discontent are very high when there is partiality. If you are showing favoritism to one particular candidate, you are offering the vacancy, others will get discontented, right? So these are advantages and disadvantages of internal recruitment. Similarly, we have advantages and disadvantages of external recruitment. External recruitment, obviously, advantages that you tend to get new talent in the organization, and when there is new talent, it will create more excitement in competition. There would be more competition in the organization. It will give rise to the healthy competition, right? It encourages more and more competition. There is lesser chance of partiality through this method. Obviously, you do not know until and unless he is a recommended employee. Otherwise, there are lesser chances that you know a particular candidate. So there are very reduced chances of showing favoritism or partiality. If options like campus recruitment has been exercised, we get a chance to employ fresh graduate, thus increasing employment. Obviously, it is through this method, through this source, you are fulfilling the societal objective of the organization as well, wherein you are generating employment, you are giving opportunities to the fresh graduates or the youth of the country who otherwise were unemployed. And disadvantages, obviously it is very costly method because it involves recruitment cost, selection and training cost. Time consuming, again, yes. Methods reduces loyalty to the company. How it reduces loyalty to the company? Because sometimes it so happens that organizations that employees who are already working in the organization, they feel that I could have been the person to fulfill this particular vacancy, but organization, instead of hiring us or instead of giving us a chance, they have gone for the external recruitment. So it might lead to demotivation, and therefore it might reduce the loyalty. Again, going for external or internal is a part of your recruitment policy. what your recruitment policy says, whether you have to go for internal recruitment or external. Sometimes companies do have this thing in recruitment policy that they would go for external recruitment. So then there it reduces the loyalty and motivation of the employee. Now a pool has been created, sufficient sufficient potential candidates have applied to your organization. Now starts the process of selection. Herein, once resumes have been received by the recruiter, recruitment ends and selection starts, right? So what is selection? It can be defined as the process of choosing the right person for the right job. It is very important that you you write choosing. Please do not write in your exams that selection is selecting. Selection is choosing right person for the right job. So to select means to choose. Selection is the process of picking individuals who have relevant qualification to fulfill the jobs in the organization. That means all those who are eligible. So out of those eligible candidates, you are picking up individuals. Basic purpose is to choose the individual who can most successfully perform the job from the pool of qualified candidates, right? Now question arises, how do we choose? We have pool of candidates that has been created. Now, how do we choose? So we have a process of choosing, so that it ensures that you get the right person for the right job with right skills, right? First is application pool from recruitment process. Now, if you see, this has been indicated in dotted, it is a dotted line. Why it is a dotted line? Because this step is common to both recruitment as well as selection. That means here recruitment ends, and from this step only selection starts. So application pool from recruitment process. Now first is primary screening and interview. Now before you go primary screening and interview, then application blank, selection test, interviews, background investigation, physical examination, approval, final, and evaluation. If you happen to go to the organization which has called you for, now you have been called in for, say, filling up the application blank. So what application blank is? Before application blank, obviously there is primary screening and interview. Primary screening and interview means when you are, this is the first interaction with your company, right? Now you are receiving a call that you have been shortlisted. So it is a brief interview. Now the person from the other side would be asking you, so why do you want to leave your job? You are currently working. What is your salary over there? How much is the expectation? And why are you leaving your job? Just 2-3 basic questions, so as to have an idea of the attitude, behavior, and overall personality of a candidate. So that is primary screening and interview. So whenever you are interacting with the company, you will think that he's having a casual conversation, but other person is not having a casual conversation. He is having a very formal conversation, and he is recording all his or her remarks for the candidate. And those remarks then goes to the selection committee, right? Then we have application blank. Now you are being called to the organization that you have been shortlisted. You can come and fill in the application blank. Nowadays, application blank would be online as well. Now, what is this application blank? This is basically 3-4 pages document. It is wherein application blank would be asking you about your name, your qualification, your then characteristics, your hobbies, your previous job, your about your family, about your early schoolings and all that. So all this is conveyed in application blank. Application blank is the application form to be filled in by the candidate when he applies for a job in the company. It collects information consisting of 4 parts. First is your personal details, educational details, work experience, and family background. Now, question arises: why company wants to know about our personal details, this family background? This we can understand. Education and experience is okay, but why personal details and family background? Why they are asking that how many brother and sister, and how many of them are married? If your kids are small, if they are big, then which class they are studying? It all goes to your inventory database, right? Database of the employee. And on the basis of these personal details and family background, selector will get an idea whether you are going to stick to the company or not. What is the weight of responsibility you are holding for your family? Because that will lead to your expectation level. Let us suppose you are hailing from a business family, you are applying for a job. The moment he is asking you that you are writing that you are from business family, 1% perception will be created that he might not stick to the organization, because the moment he will feel stressed out, quite possible he will quit the job. Similarly, if you are writing that you have you have 2 sisters, you are the eldest one, and your father is retired, or that means it shows that you have a huge family to support, which means that the primary motivation for you would be obviously money. That means tomorrow if you get an option to work with your any other, if you get a job which is offering you more than what this company is offering, quite possible again you will tend to leave the organization and join that. So all these, what I mean to say, all these details, personal details and family background, they give an insight about the a potential candidate, whether he will be sticking to the organization or not. What could be the tenure we can hold him back, and what could be the motivational technique to hold him back if he is good. So that is why application blank is very important form, and it is of 2 types. One is normal application blank, wherein you have this, and second is weighted application blank. Now, what is a weighted application blank? That every whatever you write, it has got a weight. For example, let us suppose your qualification desired is, say, MBA. So weight has been given it as, say, on the scale of 1 to 10. This is not depicted to the candidate. It is a key which is with the selector. So other person who is applying for the same post, he is PGDM. Maybe for this, weightage has been put as 8. You are simply ranking it. You are simply giving a particular weight to different categories of maybe qualification, personal details, experience, and towards, once you have filled in all the details, towards end, selector, he counts the number of points, and person who is having more points would be shortlisted for next round, and the other who is not having will be sent back. So that is why selection is a negative process, wherein you tend to reject the candidates. Recruitment is a positive process and selection is a negative process, right? So let us stop over here, and we'll continue with rest of the steps for selection process in our next class. Thank you.